Hi folks, TheFilipinaPea here. And a while back, I did a video where I answered emails from viewers who gotten themselves into some interesting situations and asked for my advice. Well, after I posted that video, guess what happened? I got a lot more emails. And today I brought you some good ones. A man whose girlfriend surprised him with an unexpected surgical procedure. A woman with some unfortunate body hair. And a guy who bought his Filipina a business only to have her personality change overnight. This is gonna be fun, folks, so let's dive in. The first one is from Tim G. from Mobile, Alabama. He says, "My girlfriend is almost a unicorn. Sweet, smart, funny, perfect personality, and she's absolutely gorgeous. Slim, tan, long legs, and everything else I think is attractive." Okay, Tim, I don't know what else you could possibly want, so we done here? "I haven't found a single fault with her except for one thing. She's got a mustache. Not a thick one, but it's plenty dark enough to notice. I know where it came from because her mom and both of her sisters have the same thing. I'm afraid that if I mention how much it turns me off, I'll hurt her feelings, and it'll be like insulting the other women in her family too. So how do I tell her that she needs to shave?" Well, first, I bet she's had it for decades and managed just fine, so in her mind, she doesn't need to get rid of it. The problem is that you prefer how she looks without it, and I don't blame you. If I sprout an eyebrow on my upper lip, I hope you guys will let me know, alright? But instead of shaving it, she might want to get laser hair removal or at least wax it, which she'll probably have to keep doing her entire life. But your question was how to bring the subject up, and the answer is pretty easy. Bring it up. Just do it in a gentle way. Avoid saying things like, "Hey honey, I want to kiss you, but I'm waiting for that caterpillar to move." And referring to her mom as Adolf Hitler might get misunderstood. Instead, just say, "Look, I really think we have a future together, and I love just about everything about you. But if you want any bedroom action, you gotta get rid of that face carpet." On second thought, maybe that's a little too direct. Try something like, "You know how beautiful I think you are, but have you ever tried not looking like Tom Selleck in Quigley Down Under?" Okay, I give up. I obviously have no clue, but I'm sure you'll find a tactful way to bring it up. Just write me back and let me know how you get out of that hairy situation, alright? Okay, next, we have Colin V. from Montreal, Canada, who writes, "My Filipina girlfriend and I used to talk or text several times a day for 8 months. She'd even wake up at odd hours just to say good night or good morning. She made sure I ate properly, and she was always interested in my day-to-day life. She couldn't find a job, so I eventually sent her the money to start a sari-sari store. She even said she'd pay me back, but I don't expect her to, and I didn't ask her to. But then the problem started. Since she opened the store, she hardly ever texts me, and she says it's because she's so busy working. But it's been over 2 months, and she hardly even answers my texts. Sometimes it still shows them as unread for days. When we do talk, she sounds like she's tired or bored, and she hardly ever asks about my day. I kept asking her if something's wrong, but she just keeps saying she's overworked. So what's going on? Is it possible that the store really keeps her that busy?" Well, Colin, of course it's possible. Like it's possible that I just ate my cat, and every bit is unlikely. Now, everyone knows that when you first start a new business, you have to put in a lot of hours. You gotta set up the physical store, you have to purchase and price the inventory. And well, with a sari-sari store, that's really about it. They're usually just a simple booth with a little window and stuff hanging on pegboards. I personally know several people who have sari-sari stores. I've been to hundreds of sari-sari stores. My mom had a sari-sari store, and I know exactly what goes on there. They're usually run by one person. The bigger ones might have an extra family member there sometimes, but I have never Never seen one that was so busy that she wouldn't have time to answer a text. Most of the day at a sari-sari store is spent wondering why all the customers seem to be going to the other 50 stores around you. Sure, you have to pause your game of Mobile Legends long enough to hand someone a bag of chips, but there's no way she's selling things so fast that she can't even say hello. But hey, if the store is instantly that successful, she can quickly pay you back, right? But don't hold your breath. Now, you didn't mention if you spend time together in person before the 8th-month text fest. So I won't accuse you of violating FilipinaPea's rule number 1. Don't send money to anyone you've never met. But if I had to bet, I'd say your relationship was entirely virtual. And if that's the case, you kind of deserve whatever you get. Now, I could certainly be wrong, but the timing seems awfully suspicious. You give her a way to make her own money, and she ghosts you. I'm kind of surprised she didn't hang around long enough to go for more. You know, she needs funds to expand the store, or she's got an unexpected string of emergencies. But the fact that she didn't stick around probably means that somewhere in the mix, you're gonna find another man. He might be a local, but I bet he's a foreigner. Because a Filipina doesn't just walk away from a perfectly good milking cow unless there's an even bigger cow right there in her pasture. Now that sounds like a lot of assumptions, but I bet I'm right. My best advice is that you keep the channels of communication open in case there's some innocent reason for her behavior. If there is, she'll be back before long, ready to chat. But if that chat includes requests for money, just tell her to use some of the profits from her sari-sari superstore that you already paid for. I wish you the best, my friend. And finally, we have an interesting situation with Philip C. from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My girlfriend and I met 6 years ago, dated and lived together in the Philippines for 3 years from 2016 to 2019, and got engaged before I had to return to the US. Since then, we've been in an LDR until I go back to the Philippines permanently later this year. A few weeks ago, when I video called her, I was surprised to see bandages across her face. Come to find out, she got a nose job without even telling me, and said it was a surprise for me. She always hated her flat nose, but I loved the way it suited her face, and I never once even suggested for her to change it. So anyway, when the bandages came off, I was shocked to see an ugly, pointy, pinched-looking nose that makes her look like an entirely different person. I hate it, and I'm really mad that she didn't ask me about it first. I'm also suspicious about how she could afford it, and I think someone else must have paid for it, no matter what she says. Now, every time I look at her, all I can see is her nose, and I'm afraid I'm not gonna be physically attracted to her anymore. What's done is done, but I'm furious that she permanently changed her appearance without consulting me, and I'm not sure I can get over it. Am I being unreasonable? What to do? What to do? Well, at the risk of sticking my nose where it doesn't belong, how much of this is about her looks? And how much is jealousy over some guy paying for it? And how much of this is resentment over not being consulted? Now, before you go sniffing around, looking for the man that might have given her the money, let me tell you that nose jobs have become really popular in the Philippines, and the prices have come way down. A basic rhinoplasty is only around $800 US, so a lot of Filipinas can actually come up with the money, even if they have to pay it in installments. So she might be telling the truth about paying for it herself. Which leaves the other two issues. As far as appearance, she was trying to look more attractive for you, even though she probably did it more for herself, and there's nothing wrong with that. You might not be happy with the results, but her motives were probably harmless. So can you love her based on who she is instead of how she looks? I mean, what if you're already married and she got in an accident that permanently disfigured her nose? You'd probably still be attracted to her, I hope. So what we're left with is the fact that you didn't know about it. I understand that you're upset and disappointed, and it probably makes you wonder what else she might do without telling you. Just tell her you want to be included in any future decisions. Explain that you don't like those kind of surprises, and then try your best to let it go. And as for my personal opinion on this subject, Unless you have an odd number of nostrils, don't try to replumb your snot locker. No one knows what nose will be a big mistake, so don't blow it. Be happy with what you were born with, and I promise you, anyone worth a damn will be happy with it too. Or not, go ahead and do it. It's no skin off my nose. Well, that's it for this episode, and I'll be back on Friday with something totally different, as always. Till next time, folks.
You know how cute I always thought you were.
If you think about it, I'm kind of like your lifeguard, keeping you from drowning in a sea of doubt about life in the Philippines. I won't let you just dive right into the deep end without informing you about our culture and customs. And you can always count on me to take care of all the little details along the way. What is that in the pool? All right, everyone, out of the pool, out of the pool! Now we're gonna have to shut it down for weeks and get a hazmat crew in here, damn it! Oh my God, this is so disgusting. Which one of you subscribers did that?